Alright, part two. So, this has been a disaster, to say the least. In the first part, when I cut the lockout tagout casing apart, it kind of exploded on me. Anyhow, so, just to recap what happened, I got up the other day and was going to start some picking practice on the weekend. And I took a tension tool because I had left this in the unlock position with the shackle out, and I rotated the core in the wrong frigging direction, and now all of the driver, I don't understand why that doesn't focus. Anyways, so I rotated the core, and now it is seized up, blocked up, whatever you want to call it. So now what I've got to do is gut this, take all of the driver pins out, and I might mention in the first video I said all the driver pins come out when this occurs. That's not what happens. I don't know why I said that. What happens is all of the key pins come out through these 6 holes in the bottom that I'd imagine that Master Lock put there in the lock cylinder body to pin it quickly in a manufacturing process. So I'm going to go over a couple of things real quick, show you the inner workings of a lockout tagout lock. And there's not much to them. They don't even have a spring to the shackle. There's just 2 ball bearings in there and an actuator, which the actuator is connected when the core or cylinder is in place as such. Just like that. I'm going to remove that back out ever so carefully, I hope, because my track record's not real good right now because everything went flying before. Alright, so what happens when you put the key in, you turn it, these 2 steel ball bearings, and by the way, a lot of other master locks work in this fashion, the ones that are more expensive. Usually the ones that are around like $15 to $18 is when you start getting the steel ball bearings that can't be shimmed and bypassed a little bit easier. Anyways, now it's in an unlocked position. So you have to pull the shackle up, and when the lock body is together, that ball bearing over here on this side will retain the shackle. It will not come out of the lock body. It does retain it. Anyhow. And then this would be back in a locked position, either that way or that way, just depending on how it's assembled. So I want to dispel some rumors myself. And one of those is, from what I read, that inside, oh, and by the way, my follower that I've been using, this universal follower, it's not going to work. Went to the dollar store and picked up a $2 pack of wooden dowels and grabbed a hold of the Dremel, and I come up with this. And I tried to burnish it like I would my pool cue shaft, And even though I sanded it, done all that, it's still rough, so it must be some crappy wood, more than likely pine, but more than likely it will get the job done of gutting this lock. So here we go with it. Now I'm already 5 minutes in and probably lost half of you. Or probably not half. If you're still hanging on, bear with me, because I really would like to find out if these drivers are pinned up the way that I read they were. And I may have to go get a flathead to get this C-clip off. I don't know. If it ain't one thing, it's another. I have to say, this is the first time I've tried to use a tension wrench to get a C-clip off. Usually I take a flathead screwdriver and jab my finger. Alright, good. No cuts this time. Alright, problem number 5,000. All the drivers are in the keyway, and I wish that would focus so you could see that, but it's killing me, man. Anyhow, right there's one of them. I've got to push all those up inside the Bible. This is the Bible. To be able to rotate the core. So, by the way, I made this little gem of a tool out of a hacksaw blade and a Dremel. And this, alright, so, great. Got the core to rotate. I'm going to continue to turn it with it to about, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock position. And leave it there. Alright, clips off. Like I always say, when in doubt, shim. From what I've read, this should be pinned up with a standard, serrated, and 4 spools. But, you know how the internet is. I almost just grabbed the other follower for some reason. The one that I know is definitely not going to work. Alright. Core's out. I would like to retrieve that shim out of there. Alright, front of the lock. Done forgot. It's this way. Yeah. Okay. Let's see how this homemade follower performs. Tweezers. First up is a spool, if I can get it out. Might mention I'm working on a budget here, and I fabricate a lot of stuff myself. Chamber 2, driver, spool. Come on now. 3. Spool. Right, now this is chamber 6. I went to the back of the lock to start getting it, which is a spool. No standard pins yet. 5. Lightly serrated with 2 serrated, or 2 serrations. And then another spool. So, nope, no standard pins in there. They're all spools and 1 serrated pin. I don't know if I'm going to pin it back up like that or not. I do know I'm going to clean this thing up some. But I'll give you a zoom in. See if we can get that to focus. No, not like that. Dear Lord. Pop it off the tripod. Oh, yep, that was my finger. Anyhow. Pin chamber 1. Spool. These are actually pretty nice, too. I do say so. Spool, 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 and 1 serrated in 5. Sorry. Keep forgetting where the frickin' lens is at. Anyways, that concludes part 2. Part 3 will be reassembly and then picking it.